So good morning to you all, both the people in the room and the people present online. It is my great honor and pleasure to welcome you here in the name of the organizing committee to our fourth Iustoria conference, but the first one to be held live finally, because we had a great idea to start conferences 2 months before the COVID pandemic struck. So it's very nice to see some familiar and some new faces here in Belgrade, and some here on the screen, and hopefully next year we'll see some of you here in person as well. Without further ado, I'd like to give the word to our first speaker on the conference opening, to our Professor Emeritus Sima Avramović. Professor, the floor is yours.
All the best in Rome. I'm really happy to be with you, at least in the online format, particularly as Department for Legal History of the University of Belgrade was traditionally devoted to a kind of extracurricular activities, and I'm really happy to see one of them, which was now in the processing, as well as we had Forum Romanum more than 50 years ago. I would really like to have the same future, and I'm happy to predict that next year Iustoria could, let's say, have its first room years. It is really a very nice jubileum. This format is very important to introduce students into research activities with universities. Is not only a to learn, but a place to learn how to research. And I think that our experience during 3 years is really excellent. I congratulate to Nina Kršljanin, who is the founding mother event, and I really hope and wish you to go on and to make a great contribution for the further existence of Iustoria, and of course to enjoy your presence today and tomorrow at this really very challenging place. All the best. I wish you, first of all, a lot of health and great success in your work. Bye.
Thank you very much, Professor. And now I would like to give the word to our Dean, Professor Zoran Mirković, who is also a professor of Serbian legal history.
Good morning. Thank you, Nina. Dear colleagues, dear students, dear guests, it's a great pleasure to address you this morning at opening this conference. So many young people gathered about one topic, very interesting topic. I don't know who is responsible for topic title, but punishment is very interesting topic, most interesting topic of the whole legal history, especially for the history of criminal law. I dealt with topic, and so it's very important. Many different aspects we can see in your abstracts, and so it's a rare opportunity to see so many people from different countries, from different universities, and I wish you a successful conference and good stay in Belgrade. Belgrade is very lively city, and I spoke with Professor Zoran about Wien, but Belgrade is something for Balkans countries like Wien for German world. And so what else? Nothing. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Milković. And now I would like to give the floor to Professor Milena Polojac, who is a professor of Roman law and currently the head of our Department of Legal History.
Okay. Thank you, Nina. Good morning to everybody, dear students, dear colleagues, dear professors. Well, as it is our fourth meeting now, so Iustoria became almost traditional now. I would like to give a little resume about previous conferences. As we know all, what was already said, all three conferences were held in online. We all know the reasons. We all, not only conferences, but our lives were influenced by that pandemic. Hopefully it is over. First of all, we had three very interesting topics: women and codes, religion and law, and medicine and law. And all three topics attracted a lot of students from many universities all over the world, even from South America, as I remember well, and from the Far East, for example, from Japan. And the participants were not only law students, but also from different other studies, like, for example, from history, philosophy, theology, political sciences, classical studies, and all other humanities. So it was really very they were very multidisciplinary and very international conferences. So our fourth conference, which we are opening at this moment, differs in a few aspects. First of all, as it is said, hopefully it is in a mixed format, so participants who are willing and who were able to come to Belgrade have that opportunity to see this interesting and inspiring city. So I hope you will discover it in your free time. This conference is not as much interdisciplinary as previous ones, maybe because I think law and punishment is really very fundamental for lawyers. And if we look at abstracts, then we can see that a great majority of topics is dedicated to criminal law. So we can even entitle this conference Crime and Punishment instead of Law and Punishment, although there are also a lot of many other sides and aspects which can be treated. And finally, unlike previous conferences, now we have also Roman law or more precisely Roman criminal law, starting with also keynote lecture by Professor Thomas Bejo today. And of course, I'm very happy because of that, and not only because I'm professor of Roman law, but also because, as we all know, all basic terminology came from Roman law, crime, punishment, delict. I would only like to say that modern distinction between crime and delict in private law as a source of obligation came, of course, from Roman law, but the Roman private delicts delicta privata in a way closer to crimes than to the other obligations, so to the contracts. So we can speak of Roman private delicts, private criminal law, and Roman public criminal law. It, of course, very much differs from modern European continental legal system. And also pena, this word of Greek origin, was used in early Roman law in the 12 tables to denote fixed monetary satisfaction to the victim from the wrongdoer instead of talion or vengeance. So it was connected to private law. And then it had later on that wider meaning to denote all punishment in general. So with these few introductory words, I would like to thank you all, first of all to students who showed interest in our conference and who showed interest in legal history and prepared good research papers. And I also thank to professors who accepted our invitation to give keynote lectures and in that way support our idea of this student conference. And of course, at the end, I would like to thank to my younger colleagues, committee organizers, of course, with our Milena on the head of this leading team. And I wish you a very successful conference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Polojac. Thanks once again to all the speakers. Just a brief piece of information, since the motivation for this year's subject was mentioned. We thought since this year it's 150 years since Serbia abolished corporal punishment, so it was in 1873. So we thought it was a good symbolic anniversary, and I think that subject will be mentioned in a few of our papers. So I would like to thank all our opening speakers once again.